channel, and this is my first intro video on this platform. Myself Sriparna Kundu. I have pursued post-graduation programs on economics and education. Additionally, I have qualified UGC NET exam last year. I have teaching experiences for over 8 years in both online and offline modes. I have decided to create this channel in order to help those who have faced a lot of difficulties during the pandemic period due to shutdowns in school and colleges. I will try to share my knowledge and insights on economics at the most efficient manner, which would include also sharing learning materials. And my first YouTube video would be on an introduction to economics, and in order to continue this channel successfully, I would request to my viewers, please like, share, comment on the videos and subscribe to my channel. Press the bell icon button for getting the notification of new videos. Happy learning.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage. Here this is Sriparna Kundu. Hope all are doing well. I come again with a new topic. So today's topic is an introduction to economics, and it's a very introductory and preliminary concept about economics, and I think it will helpful to everyone, and most importantly who are just joined in class 11 of any board, because this chapter comes from class 11 syllabus. So now I am starting my session. So before starting my sessions, we will check what I will discuss for today's session. So here there are some subtopics for today's session. The first one is the basic definition of economics. The second one is branches of economics. I will discuss only the major one because economics has lots of branches. Third point is 3 basic economic questions, and which is most important in economics also. I will discuss 4 different types of definitions about economics according to various economists. So their definitions, their versions are known as the wealth version, welfare version, third one is scarcity version, and fourth one is a growth oriented version. And I will discuss its their definitions, features, advantages and drawbacks also. Now don't waste any time, let's get started. Here this is the first important slide for this discussion, and here we can see what do you mean by economics. So do you know what is economics? So yes, economics is a social science, and it is concerned with economic behavior of every individual, society and the economy. And at first we have to know what do you mean by a social science. So social science identifies all societal behaviors of every individual. So what do you mean by all societal behaviors? So societal behaviors included the political behavior, the religious behavior, the cultural behaviors, and most importantly the economical behaviors. So all types of behaviors are included in the social science, and economics is topmost among all social sciences like history, geography, philosophy, education, political science, and that's why economics is often regarded as the queen of social sciences. Now coming to my next part, and it indicates some basic view about economics. The definition is, it is the one of the branch of social science that studies how people interact with the value, because it's a social science, and for particularly the production, distribution and the consumption part. So at first we have to know what is production and who are the producer. So we are the individual, we played as a dual role. Sometimes we plays as a consumer role, sometimes we plays as a producer role. So do you have any idea what do you mean by a producer? Yes, producer are those group of people who produces different kinds of commodity in a particular time period, and consumer are those group of people who consumes the produced commodity, and both are interrelated to each other. So all economic activities starts with production and ends with consumption. Okay, so now going to the next slide. Here we can see there are two major branches of economics. The first one is a microeconomics. So micro means a small. Okay. So we consider in a society one individual as a micro thing. So that's why microeconomics is a study of individuals, and macro means a large. So it deals with the functioning of whole economy. Clear? Now going to the next slide. Here we can see the most important topic in economics. This is the three basic economic questions. So we have already discussed economics seeks to explain lots of questions, and those questions are particularly related to the economic behaviors, and we are the individual, we everyday face the innumerable economic questions in our daily life, and some questions arises from the producer side, some questions arises from the consumer side. So I have already told economic activities start with production, so that's why all three questions are coming from the producer side. The first question is what to produce. So what type of good is produced for the given period of time. The second question is how to produce. So that means which technique do we use for the production, and last one is for whom to produce. So the produced commodity is used by whom? The poor people or the rich people or the mediocre people. So these questions are also very important. So these three questions are very important. So first one is what to produce, second one is how to produce, and third one is for whom to produce, and these are three basic economic questions. Now go to the next slide. Here this is the main slide for today's session, and main important part for today's session. This slide shows that major definitions of economics. So I have already discussed there are four major definitions of economics. The first definitions was given by Adam Smith, and their version, and his version is known as the wealth definition, and his time period was 1723 to 1790. And at first Adam Smith gave a definition on economics, and that's why Adam Smith is generally regarded as a father of economics. And now coming to the definition of Adam Smith. So he defined economics as a science which requires into the nature and the causes of wealth of nations. So he discussed only the wealth part, not the happiness, not the human welfare. So according to him, economics is a science which treats of wealth only, which treats of only the material thing. Now coming to the next point, his famous book is An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. And now go to the next slide, and here we can see some characteristics and some drawbacks for Adam Smith's version. Okay, so the first characteristics is the study of wealth. So it examines economics. Economics examines how people earn wealth and spend it for a different kinds of for the purchasing of the different kinds of product. Okay, and second one is causes of wealth. So economics is a one kind of science that examines causes which lead to an increase of wealth, and how the wealth is created, how the wealth is produced or increased by the production and the accumulation. So main important focal part is the wealth in the Adam Smith definitions, in the wealth definitions, because most important era is wealth, not the happiness, not the human and social welfare. And third important characteristics for the wealth version, that is the economic man. So economic man is a one kind of man that who is aware of self-interest only by increasing the wealth, not the human welfare and not the happiness also. Okay, now going to the next point, that is some drawbacks are there. So these definitions is too much emphasized on materialism, because it deals with only the wealth, not the other thing. Second one, it has narrow view of wealth also. And third drawbacks, it ignores the problem of scarcity, because resources are limited, but in Adam Smith versions resources is unlimited, but this thing is totally false, and that's why his definitions is totally ignored the problem of scarcity, and which is one of the most important economic problem. Okay, so now going to the next slide, and we will discuss the next definitions which is known as welfare definitions, and these definitions was given by Alfred Marshall, and his time period was 1842 to 1924. Okay, so human and social welfare at first got placed in economics definitions with the hands of Alfred Marshall. So economics is a study of mankind, and in the ordinary business of life, it examines a part of individual and the social actions which is most closely connected with the attainment and the use of material requisites of well-being. So material requisites of well-being means wealth. Okay, ठीक है? So it has emphasized both mankind and wealth. It provides the means for existence, means for comfort and the enjoyment of life, because it deals with the human social welfare, not with the human social welfare, but also it deals with the wealth part. Clear? Now going to some characteristics and drawbacks of welfare definitions, and so go to my next slide. So here we can see some characteristics. So we have already discussed economics is a study of mankind, economics is a study of ordinary business of life, and that's why it is known as the daily life science, and it is called as a reality of science. And the fourth important characteristics is the exclusion of non-economic activities. So what do you mean by a non-economic activity? So all economic activities is of two types. One is economic and another one is a non-economic. So non-economic activities are those group of activities which are not subject to measurement in terms of money. So social activities, cultural activities, religious activities, these activities are not measured by the money. So that's why these are not included in the welfare definition. But so welfare definitions is totally excluded the non-economic activities. Now coming to the next part, that is some drawbacks are there. So first drawback is the impractical classification of activities. So obviously economics is a social science, but social activities, cultural activities, the political activities, these activities are not included in his definition. So that's why there is a impractical classifications. Second one is materialistic aspect. It focused only the material thing. It is focused only the wealth part. Okay, mostly focused on the wealth part. And third one is it has restricted scope of economics also. Okay, so now going to the next slide, and here we can see scarcity definition, and it's the third definition of economics, and this definition was given by Lionel Robbins, and his time period was 1908 to 1984. And according to Alfred Marshall's definitions, or the welfare definition, is widely accepted by everyone, but it is criticized by Lionel Robbins, and that's why he gave a definitions, and his definitions is known as the scarcity definition. And because welfare is a why he is criticized the welfare version, because welfare is a subjective thing and in nature, so it varies from person to person, place to place. So that's why Lionel Robbins gave definitions which is the scarcity definition. And now go to the definition. So according to Robbins, economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So the most important keywords in his definition is ends. So what do you mean by a end? So do you have any idea what is ends? Ends refers to human want. So we all know that human want is unlimited, and it is not only large in number, but also it tends to multiply over time, and one human want is satisfied, another one crops up. So it is a very important keywords in his definition. The second important keywords is the scarce. Scarce means limited. Okay, and means, third one is means. Means indicates various productive resources. So scarce means together indicates limited various productive resources, and these resources have the alternative uses. We all consider that land is a resources, so it has alternative uses because it can be used for the production of crops as well as for the building of a factory. Clear? So I think it is clear for all. Okay, now going to the next slide, and we will discuss some characteristics and some drawbacks of these definitions also. So moving to my next slide. Here this is the Next slide, and we can see there are some characteristics of Lionel Robbins version. The first characteristics is it has unlimited ends, obviously unlimited human ones. Second one is scarce means. Third one is alternate uses of means. So these three things we have already discussed in my previous slide. And now come to the fourth one, that is the choice. Okay, so human wants is unlimited and resources is limited. So that's why we have to make a choice between the more important and the less important human ones, and priorities have to be laid down among various ones. Clear? So we have to decide which one, at first which one can be fulfilled and which should be the left. Okay, so now go to the next part, that is the drawbacks part. So the first drawback is the static definition of economics, because these definitions focuses only the present situations, not the future thing, and it's a fixed. So that's why it has static definition of economics. The second one is the economic problem may not always arise from the scarcity. Yes, various economic problems arises from the overproduction, oversupply, etc. And now going to the last drawbacks, that is it has restricted subject matter of economics. And now we are going to the last slide, or the last definitions, which is most modern economic view, and this definition was given by Paul Samuelson, and this definition is known as the growth oriented definition, and his time period was 1915 to 2009. So now coming to the last definition of economics. So he defined economics is a study of how people chose, with or without the use of money, to employ the scarce productive resources which have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for the consumption now or in the future among various people groups in the society. So this definition focuses not only the present but also the future. Okay, and this definition includes the previous all definitions, because Adam Smith versions plus welfare version plus scarcity functions, and most importantly added the growth part. All things are included in his definitions, and growth oriented definition has some characteristics also. So it emphasizes the economic problems like Robbins. Samuelson also emphasizes the problem of choice arising out of scarce resources and unlimited human wants. Okay, unlimited unlimited human wants. Just a minute. Okay, unlimited human ones, and the problem of scarcity is not merely confined to the present but also to the future. So that's why it has a long-term perspective. Okay, it has the long-term perspective, and Professor Samuelson has adopted a dynamic approach of his definitions by taking economic growth as an integral part of economics. So that's why it is a dynamic approach. It has a dynamic definition of economics. And now the second coming to the last characteristics, that is the comprehensive, because the same thing, it is growth oriented as well as the future oriented, and it has incorporated the Marshall's welfare aspect and Robbins' scarcity and the choice aspect. So all things are included in his definition. That's why the growth oriented definition is a comprehensive definition. Clear? So we are done for today's session. Before finishing my session, I will discuss all major topics, so that I have already taught also. So what I will learn. So first thing is four different basic definitions about economics by four different economists, and their definitions, features, advantages, disadvantages, major branches of economics, and three basic economic questions. And in my next session I will discuss some basic economic concepts. That is the utility, the second one is consumption, and third one is a human want. Okay, I will come back again with a new topic. Till then, stay tuned. But not the least, if you like my video, so please do comment and share and subscribe for my channel. Thank you.